Hi, my name is Colin Pritchard, and today with my colleagues, we're going to provide you information on selecting a good campsite. We'll cover such topics as selecting a campsite that is durable, looking out for potential hazards, and also selecting a campsite that fits the group's or individual's needs.
Hi, I'm Sulis, and I'm going to talk to you about picking a proper campsite selection. So this is our proper campsite selection. We picked this because it's on durable ground and it's not environmentally fragile. It's on level ground with a slight slope for drainage away from the tent. And also we picked this area because it's open up to all the other campsite areas, such as an open area for people to do leisure activities like playing tag. And also it leads down to our trail here, which leads to the latrine for people to do their own business. And that is why we picked this area as a proper campsite selection. So now, for our campsite selection that you should not choose, we have this area that is environmentally fragile because of all the vegetation that is around, like these flowers and the moss. The ground is very unlevel in this area, as you can see, and it will pool lots of water. And overall, this area is not durable for a suitable campsite selection.
Hi, I'm Anthony, and I'll be evaluating the campsite for drainage. So when selecting a campsite and keeping drainage in mind, you want to select an area that's relatively level, so it makes it easy to sleep upon. 2, it should have a slight angle to it so that the water will drain away should it start to rain. As well, you should avoid areas that are punch bowls so that if it does rain, they will fill with water and most likely flood your tent. We'll show you what a punch bowl looks like in a little bit. As well, you should also try to avoid mossy areas, as when it does rain, these areas will stay wet for much longer. So try to pick areas that are of sand or gravel consistency so that they dry quicker should it rain. So, me again. This is what a punch bowl would look like. So should you set your tent up here and it begin to rain, this area is most likely going to pool with water, as all the water will run down from the elevated areas into the lowest part. Your tent's probably going to get flooded, you're going to get wet, and you're going to have a bad time camping. As you can also see, this area is quite mossy, and if it does rain, this is going to stay wet for a long time, and it's going to track a lot of water into your tent as you get in and out of it in the evenings. It's just going to make for a really poor camping experience if you choose to set your tent up here.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and today I'm going to inform you of some of the potential hazards you should look out for when choosing a campsite. Some of these hazards include cliff edges, water sources, poisonous plants, evidence of storm damage, animal habitats, or signs of animal life, and in addition to this, bugs and insects. Some other things to look out for would be tripping hazards, dead trees, or partly fallen trees. Here is an example of an ant's nest. This is one place you would not want to set up your tent. It would make for a very uncomfortable sleep that night.
You're like, what?
On a side note, it is important to look out for things such as broken glass. These are things caused by humans themselves, and it is very important to look out for when choosing a campsite. Are you okay?
Yeah.
This is an example of a tripping hazard. This is what I'm talking about. Things like this can be very dangerous and cause injury to human beings while camping. There are many dead and fallen trees in this area. It makes it very difficult to find a good camp spot. They're in the way and they're dangerous to be around while camping. Here is Here's an example of a cliff edge and water source. These things are very important to look out for because although water can be very beneficial when on a camping trip, it is important to look out for falling into it or slipping or tripping over this cliff edge or falling off into the water can be very dangerous.
Well, we've already covered some of the more important aspects of campsite selection. It's important to keep in mind that there are many others, such as, picking a campsite that's going to give you a nice scenery. Scenery such as mountains, beaches, sunsets, or even rivers and lakes. All this stuff combined on your camping trip can make the experience more enjoyable. Another important thing to keep in mind when picking a campsite is something that a term I like to use called over-camping. It's important when you go into the wilderness that you don't choose the same campsites over and over and over, and that you take good care of them. Because if not, stuff like this happens, which is obviously a pure sign of over-camping and disrespect for the environment.
Another important aspect to take into consideration when choosing a campsite is the amount of daylight remaining. It's important to choose a campsite before it gets dark, as this allows you to select a campsite with all the crucial aspects that allow it to be both safe and comfortable. Furthermore, trying to set up a campsite in the dark can be dangerous at best. It amplifies all the other hazards in the wild, such as water risk, cliffs, widowmakers that you can't see because it's dark, and tripping hazards are a big one because, again, the reduced visibility in the darkness just makes everything much more dangerous. An easy way to gauge how much remaining daylight there is to use the four-finger method. Taking 4 fingers extended away from the body and placed beneath the sun and the horizon allows you to gauge how much daylight there's remaining. Each 4-finger width represents 1 hour of remaining daylight. Here's for an example. It's dark out right now. So, remember to allow yourself to have enough daylight remaining to gauge. So you need to gauge how much more... Oh my god. Maybe we can cut it at the end there. And remember, account for how long it will take to set up your camp based upon the group size and the duration that you're going to be staying. So make sure you have enough time to set up everyone's tents as well as a group tarp in case there's inclement weather, as well as dig a latrine if you're going to be staying for multiple days. You don't want everyone doing their business around the campsite and someone stepping in.
That concludes our video on selecting an adequate campsite. I hope you enjoyed watching and hanging with me and my colleagues. It's always, just remember the fine points, select a durable spot, relatively flat. Remember for drainage that you want it, relatively flat land with a slight slope. And it's important to look out for certain animal risks and potential hazards such as fallen trees, tripping hazards, insects, etc. Most importantly, before I go, I'd like to say that wherever you can, to try and minimize your impact on the environment as best you can. It's important so for future generations can come to the spot and enjoy just like you did. Thanks.